Greetings, this is the school year program overview for the November the 7th school year program Super Saturday session for 7th and 8th graders. We're going to jump in and look at the lesson plans. You will receive this via email to look at prior to the Super Saturday session this Saturday. Please note that the 7th grade schedule is as follows. Session 1 is social emotional learning or coding adventures, and then their session 2 will be public speaking. For 8th grade, their session 1 is public speaking, and then they have the option for session 2 to either go to coding adventures or social emotional learning. Coding adventures students will sign up for that, and so those students will only receive that schedule with the Zoom link to get into that course. The presentation link, so the first 15 minutes at 8:45 is designed for our morning meeting where we will cite the affirmation. I will review a quick temperature check just to kind of get a feel of how students are feeling in this current climate. We know that their anxiety, there may be some stress levels just dealing with the current state of our nation. And so we definitely want to address that, giving a quick temperature check. I also will give them time to open up their schedules and walk them through how to get into those Zoom classes, especially for students who may have didn't come to the first session and so they don't have their virtual schedules or can't remember their family numbers. And then I will dismiss those students so that they can go into session 1. So let's look at the actual themes for this Saturday. So we will be looking at self-advocacy for social and emotional learning. And then for public speaking, we will be discussing how to navigate difficult conversations, which is very appropriate during this current time. We want students to effectively be able to engage in conversations, being able to assert themselves, speak their mind, and feel that they can express themselves, but do it respectfully in a way that meets their needs and in a way that it also addresses and shows respect for their perspective. So we're going to go to the public speaking overview for this session. The public speaking guiding question is, how can individuals navigate sensitive or controversial topics more effectively? The session will include a Google Classroom code, which will will house all of their resources. The students will also have to complete a flip grid at the end of the session. They will complete a simulation course on Open Mind, which is an interactive guide that they will do independently just to help them navigate difficult conversations. And these are additional tools for classroom management, the random name selector, but there are also videos within this lesson as well that they will actually view and be able to answer question prompts as well. Lastly, there will be a Google slide presentation that students can use to guide them through the lesson, and you can implement that as your mini lesson, and also the additional slides for the independent practice. They're already embedded into the presentation as well. So the purpose for this lesson again is to develop a deeper understanding on how to navigate difficult conversations and advocate for one's belief and injustices effectively. So it's going to be a part 2 to this SEL lesson that we are going to be addressing, which is on self-advocacy. So it is going to mesh really well. And then also the competencies that they are going to be developing is also related to just being able to speak and articulate very clearly how they feel during moments where they want their perspective to be heard. So they will get practice with exercising their opinions. So I'm going to, for the purpose of this overview, open up the Google Slides presentation so that you can see how we're going to navigate through the lesson. So the guiding question is present, and then the do now is, what were some of the issues you cared about during the 2020 presidential election? Next, we're going to watch a video clip. young voters on the political issues they care about most? Did your issues align with those of the youth in the video? So it's a very short YouTube.
After a historic turnout from Generation Z in
Beaverton, Oregon.
And during this video, Generation Z basically discussed some of the top issues that were prevalent during the 2020 election that they want to be addressed by politicians. And so my question for students is just to engage them into conversations. Do you think some of these issues are concerns of yours or of your interest? And then we're going to go to the hook. Just watching the video clip, the video clip is called "Are You Afraid to Talk About Race?" which is going to be a difficult conversation for some. It may not be for others. However, in order to be able to speak to various counterparts and peers in society, we want to see the students' opinion about it. Do you think talking about race is easy? Do you think it's maybe a difficult conversation to have with other people? So as a facilitator, feel free to engage them in dialogue related to this. And once they watch the video, please ask them to answer the question, what are ways a person should engage in dialogue with anyone on the subject matter of race? So everyone, in my opinion, should be able to discuss race in a way that is productive, in a way that is conducive to allowing everyone to live in a more harmonious manner, where we are respecting the beliefs, the culture, and the experiences of one another. So we want to just open this time up for them to drop answers in the chat box or just unmute themselves and answer this hook. The video clip is very short and it comes from a CNN town hall. So building the skill, this is something they're going to do simultaneously, but also independently. So they're going to get the link, so drop it in their chat box, and all you have to do is simply ask them to open this up in open mind. And what it will do is it will create a simulation for them. You, as a facilitator, can read through this. So the Open Mind platform created a simulation on simply navigating difficult conversations. So it asks, have you been having frustrating interactions around sensitive or controversial topics lately? And perhaps someone said something to you via social media or just in whatever personal context that made your blood boil. So it goes through, and it takes about 10 minutes, where it guides you through 3 science-backed steps on how to navigate these conversations effectively. They can go to the drop-down button, which provides them additional information, and then they can just click to get started. So here they are. The introduction page just talks about how it's common to disagree with people. You may get a various impulse that people are being disrespectful, but it's going to guide you on how to retort or rebut someone that you may not disagree with, but do it in a way where they feel that their voice is heard without alienating them and allowing them to engage you and listen to your perspective. So it's going to first go over the 3 science-backed steps, which is press pause, ask questions for understanding, speak with humility. But then once you actually go through the simulation, it's going to give you some ways in which you students and you can also do this simulation guide, can address people through each step. So you can start off with putting your name, and then think of someone you tend to disagree with over politics. So I wrote my grandmother. And then it gives different questions. What other issues that you may disagree on? So abortion is a choice, or abortion is murder. All cops are bad. Climate change is a hoax. So I click climate change because maybe my grandmother does not understand the importance of how the climate and human environment interaction is impacting just things that are going on, the catastrophic events that have occurred lately in our world. And so you can go through, it says, thanks for sharing, Kendra. Now imagine speaking to your grandmother, and it just gives you ways in which to approach the conversation. So again, you can go through it. Is there anything I could do about this? And then it starts with step 1, press pause. So it'll give you examples of what to say and how to say. So it's going to first tell you, like, let me take a moment to process that. And you can go all the way through until you complete it, and it will just help students be better equipped with understanding how to navigate conversations that may be difficult, but do it in a respectful way. I like it. It's pretty effective and impactful as well. So again, this is a review piece, but after they finish the simulation, which should again take about 10 minutes, they're going to go into breakout rooms of 2. So randomly select breakout rooms of 2 and have students use this slide. You can share this slide with them, and they're going to choose one of these controversial topics. Climate change is a hoax. Make America great again. And you're going to ask them, choose this topic, and one of the partners will actually make the statement or say that, and then you're going to practice how would you combat someone in a respectful way and provide evidence to show that, you know, your statement may be subjective, your statement may be false. I don't agree with your statement, and here's the reasons why. So again, you're going to do step 1, press pause, ask questions, and then also clarify what you're saying, but also do it with humility. And they will do those 3 science-backed steps in breakout rooms. After that, for the exit ticket, basically it's a 2-part. It'll take about 10 minutes. It's part of the exit ticket and it's part of the closure. So for their exit ticket, I just want them to simply choose an issue that they feel that they were extremely passionate about during the 2020 election. This is a list. Maybe it's healthcare, maybe it's gun policy, maybe it was the budget deficit, maybe it was crime, welfare, and poverty, maybe it was drug laws. Maybe it impacted them personally, or maybe they just want to speak to it because they were super interested about it. That's just the first step. And then simply they can open up a Google Docs. They don't have to turn it in, but they're going to say, for instance, if I chose that issue that I was very interested in, such as climate change, they're going to tell me why. Why was that issue important to them? So maybe if someone says climate change is an issue that impacts our society, well, why? Because we are increasing pollution and it's causing us to experience catastrophic events. Why? Why is this causing us to experience catastrophic events? Because of the pollution. Some of the catastrophic events that we have experienced is increased levels of maybe CO2. Why is that? So it's just asking them to do some thought-provoking questions for them to understand how to address it. So it could be like, one of the issues of my concern was, Black Lives Matter movement. Why? Because then I'm an African American. Why as an African American is important? Because we are disproportionately impacted by police brutality in the United States. Why? Because there are policies in place where people are not taking the necessary trainings to ensure that all people are safe. So you can have students just take their time to kind of answer why. Why is this important? Well, why is that important? And making sure that they're building on the other reason, the reason prior. And they're going to simply record their 5 whys. So it's great to often have a script. I included an example on Flipgrid, and I chose climate change. So as you can see, that is my first. During the presidential election, the issue that was most interesting to me would be the issue related to healthcare and COVID-19. The reason why is because it impacts people with chronic illnesses. And the reason why that is important is because I have several family members, including my grandmother, and I'll pause it right there. But as you can see, I just built upon each reason so that you could understand how to do the 5 why protocol. So after they completed that and submitted their Flipgrid, that is the conclusion of the lesson. I hope that it was super effective. Just for their reference, there's an example. And that is the conclusion of the public speaking lesson for the November the 7th session.